And hello to all friends, Potatoes are with you. And today, the subscriber sent us as much as the whole third update of the very mod, which is very cool, in which there are very many different new items, such as a very cool wand, armor, new ore. And today new mobs have been added, a new generation, and in short it's very interesting. But before you start watching, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like it, write comments, and also click on the bell, so as not to miss new daily videos. But we're getting started. Let's start our review of this supplement, with what has been updated here. Namely, now it turns out that the brass alloy, which was made with us as follows, can be melted down, and made of it just the same image of desert. And it's all done very simply, with the help of a bull turns out. We'll put the burners in the flare down here. Also, of course, we power the whole thing with coal. We put a mechanical mixer, and a gear on top, which we naturally power with the help of any signal source. Now we throw just one brass alloy here, and see what happens. It mixes brass together with andesite, so to speak, and it turns out to be brasdesite. And here, we just kind of had this lump, along with 4 pieces of andesite, and also brass. And now it turns out that Bradesi is done in such an easy way. I'm more than sure that it was also made before, we just couldn't watch this craft. The next thing that has changed is the textures. On a set of armor made of brodesite. Yes, we have enough brass here, but this is called brass armor by the way. And the textures have also changed, for all the tools and weapons also made of brass. Let's see what this armor looks like now. This armor now looks like this. To be honest, there are also similar elements here, such as here is some kind of cutout for the eyes. True, my eyes are located a little lower, and here I can see only the eyebrows, but the eyes are still there somewhere. I think someone will see there, if they look down like that, and look right at me. Next, what do we have here? It's a sword. The sword we have here is such a small one. I think it could have been made a little bigger. Also here is a pickaxe, and then a brass hoe, an axe, and finally a shovel. By the way, the shovel looks quite sharp. I really like it. Well, in principle, the textures themselves are just as cool. So the back looks like this. What kind of diagonal is this on the armor? Honestly, I do not know. Maybe it's like some kind of rope. What is there for? But in general, in principle, I really like this armor. However, it's unclear that I have some holes on my hands. Honestly, I don't understand why this is necessary, but in general it's cool. Then a brass wand was added here. A brass rod is called. This stick is made of 2 brass ingots. We get as many as 4 rods. And so far, only our hands are made of these rods. By the way, it is now called in Russian Animal Strike. 11 damage, 0.8 attack speed. Honestly, I don't remember how much it was before. It seems to be 13 damage if I'm not mistaken. And this hand is now made of 4 brass, ghost steel, this brass rod of 1 piece, 2 skins, and also a piece of iron. Let's test it. It seems to me that it has changed a little in textures. Yes, look, it seems to me that she has added such a hand, that is more precisely, a thumb or whatever it is. In general, it has become more 3-, voluminous, and more elaborated. It seems to me that there is nothing here even more than me. She really looks really cool. So let's test, let's say this robbers, so the volume is straight with a crit, and we do 16 damage. Perhaps there was such damage. Who remembers? Please write. Then we have now learned how coal dust is made. It is done very simply, by re-enslaving the coals. But before that, by the way, they tried to crush it and nothing worked. And now I understand that the craft has been changed, and we will not get the same black dye, but in principle. But now this one will turn out. And by the way, but no. Strange though. Look, here we get coal dust. Honestly, I do not know how to do it. Maybe different coal should be thrown. There I threw now here is such an ordinary one. Maybe it will turn out to be wood. Well, we throw it again usually. Maybe something will come out. In short, as far as I understand, we have conflicts with fragmentation here. Because we also get a black dye. But by the way, dust has not worked at all yet, and probably now even yes. It does not work either. In short, it must be fixed necessarily, because I have not found any more way to create this coal dust. So further, it turns out that you look at how those very, as they are called, carbon ingots are made or what it is. In general, it turns out that the whole thing needs to be shoved not into the bowl, but just like that, we throw it under the press, and look like this. No wait, and everything works fine. Yes, just more speed, and here we get carbon fiber. From this carbon fiber, we still make the same as they are called, the altar. In short, here is an altar rune, a block of runes, and also a rune column. By the way, the name has been changed. Now it is completely Russian translation, and there are no those bugs. About the runes by the way, look what we're getting. We can also get these runes by crushing the runes of nature. But look, that is, we can break it up, get a 95% chance. The rune of nature, if we paradrobeam it and also get a stick. This is what we get out of the fire. And here, we have a 100% chance of a rune to the lights and Nazarite dust, and a 50% chance of a starter. That is, we can now get some ingredients from them. That is, let's say here, we can have it disappear with some chance, but let's say we will have infinite fire. Let's give such a thing, that is, it is an infinite source. Then in the water damage here, we have 100 millibucks of water just there. Well, and also exactly the air does not do anything with us, it is needed to use this light staff. Further, what has changed is that a heating element has been added and a non-working melting furnace. I understand it's called that. In general, our heater is made of a can of lava, 2 brass housings, granite bricks, for brazite, and also a brass sheet. Nothing seems to have changed with this one. In general, look, we first put a heating element, and let's say if we put this non-working half of the boiler separately, then nothing will work, but if there is a heating element on top, which by the way does not feed on anything as far as I understand. By the way, let's try to stuff, I don't know, coal from him again. No, nothing is being shoved. He just lost so much weight, works by default from nothing, but from the ether, roughly speaking. In general, now this smooth furnace works for us, and we can do it here. And as far as I remember, I am the very cool Brazilian hell prosthesis. And if I'm not mistaken, it is made of an ordinary image, and also magma. Let's check it out. By the way, I think they made fewer slots there. There were 6 of them here if I'm not mistaken, and now there are 4. And in short, it turns out that the infernal brazite and craft has been removed here, but the infernal brazita has not added craft. That is, it is impossible to see. But in principle, we remember this. Next, what was added is a new ore. Cobidazite is called ore. As I understand it, there is a type of cobalt and andesite, something like between. In general, this is some kind of alloy. It looks like this for us. Here is such a very pretty one by the way, and look what effect Cobidazite gives us. If we put it in our hands, then it gives us a glow effect. Well, of course, what is it? This is an ingot that is obtained by melting this ore. It is also possible to naturally mimic there, she has all the forms. Let's say you melt it down here, and in short, everything will work out fine for you. Cobidazite ore. What can be made of it? And you can make a new armor out of it. Cobidazite also. The characteristics of her are the following: 5 armor, and 2 hardness 9, 7, and also 5 armor. Let's take her. We also have a sword. I hope exactly 1 and 6 attack speed. That is, it is already cooler than the trump card. Then, there is also a pickaxe, an axe for 10 damage 0-7 attacks, and a shovel, and also, of course, let's put on all this armor, and check out how it looks in general. And it looks like this. It is very similar exactly to the elements of the hands, to the one that was made of brass. But let's say the helmet here is very different. We seem to have 4 eyes, and in short, it seems to me very cool. If I'm not mistaken, it's cooler than in sight. Let's check it out. So here, we have 831. But no, it's still worse in some parameters. But in principle it's higher in the harrow, and I think it's worth it. As for the chance of generating this ore, I can't say anything, because I didn't check it. Otherwise I would have been walking around the mines there for a very long time, but I understand it is approximately equal to the site. Then either to diamonds. Let's check the sword, whether it's true that we have 9 damage here, or you never know. By the way, here's something else. If we take a hoe, then nothing is given to us, no effect. If we take a shovel, then there's nothing. The axe is also nothing, the pickaxe is also nothing. But the sword gives us speed. That is, with the help of holding a sword in our hands like this, we can now run much faster. Well, how is it faster? In principle, the first speed is already cool. Also here is the skeleton visor, but all 9 damage is done. Excellent. Well, by the way, it is in the inventory that the textures look very cool. I think I should add, you know what? There are some elements like this here, like shoulder pads of some kind. There's something else sticking out. I think it's worth adding some 3Ds, if these are possible elements for the armor itself, for the model itself. Like maybe the horns are like this to the helmet. There are some shoulder pads or something like that. Next, let's look at all the mobs. Here, we have as many as 3 of them in this update, you estimate, and we have another mod in development. In other words, there are very great prospects. The first one is a brass golem. Let's see what it is in general. I will immediately say that only 1 prodezit falls out of it, and I honestly don't know exactly where they meet, but I remember that a subscriber sent me a screenshot by mail. There, the screenshot contained first of all, how these ores are generated. They will spawn with us, as I understand it, in the same place as diamonds. Then, we also have lemon-type bushes. They spawn somewhere on the slings, and there is also such a small danjik, like there may be 5. Again, such a cube is somewhere under the ground, and there is warmth there. I understand there will be such brass golems there. That's how they look, quite interesting. There are such eyes, arms, legs here, and by the way they move very quickly. Now I do not know whether to go somewhere or not. That's it. Here they are moving very fast like this, and let's kill them. We get 1 Brazilian ingot, and here is another Brazilian ingot. Here it is. Then there is also such an ancient being. A primeval rune will fall from it. Primeval rune, what is it? We don't craft it in any way. As I understand it, this is the content of all 4 elements in itself. So in principle, we can make something out of it later, and what I will show next. Let's summon this ancient creature. 30 HP, 2 armor, and in principle, this is such a brass cube, with runic brass cubes around, rotating like this, and in principle, it looks very cool. But, I think it's worth changing this brass cube a little bit, adding it. Although look, she has eyes. Okay then, I think that then nothing needs to be changed. And let's try to kill him, and only 1 primeval rune will fall from him. Here by the way, you can also add that the brass was falling or something like that. And then, we have a whole boss already. It is called the brass ear. What is it in general, and where can I find it? There is no way to find it in the world. He is summoned here with the help of a small brass golem, if lightning strikes him. Let's do it now with the help of the command. Let's say the sum, if I'm not mistaken, is a light bolt. Yes, here we have lightning being called. In short, then we will remember the brass golem, and beat it here with lightning. Look what's going on. We have this little brass golem, turns into such a brass ear. He has as much as 500 HP and 5 armor. We have a very powerful one. This is literally, remember there were such Vidve ARPs, and sandy ones like this. I do not know who some cats, some tigers were. In general, they are very similar in their posture. So look like this, he moves slowly with us, and by the way, his sounds are very cool. I will immediately say that it will not be possible to shoot at him in any way, at all with any projectiles. That is, let's say I take such a Tudok. I want to shoot some very powerful bow from him, and nothing happens. You see, everything just flies away from him. Also, by the way, with the help of that very magic wand, nothing will come out. All these shells will just fly off from him. By the way, along the way, these brass little, as they are called, golems, will disappear in caves just like that. Because I didn't remember him. Here's another thing, by the way, he has a very cool sound when we kill, as if I don't know, some kind of anvil or something. In general, right here is a direct reference to the metal creation of it. So in the meantime, he only had 3.5 HP left. We're going to finish it off quickly. And what will fall out of it? And with him, we only get what we want at the moment. And also, it may fall out from him. If I'm not mistaken, I checked everything there in short, and it may fall out from him. That Koba and Desert are in my opinion one, and that's it. Here, I honestly fell out in my opinion, once, 2 cubes of Dazite, and also the second time, I had a Nazarite ingot, and one of this ingot. Well, in short, honestly, I don't know if it's worth calling this boss at all, because well, in fact, nothing expensive falls from him, unless he pays not to go to hell. But, he has quite a lot of hap, so I don't know if it's worth it at all or not. Next, let's see how to apply this primitive rune. We use it like this in the world. You can't poke anything, it doesn't give anything at all. But we can make a light staff out of it now. Yes, they changed it to a light staff. Now it is made with us, from an exquisite radiance, a primitive rune, and also an ordinary stick. By the way, it would be possible to make a better brass stick here. This thing, we still use air runes, but now when you shoot, look what happens. So hop, and here we have a 2x2 block breaking going on here. Such a small quarry is being dug out. And also we have, if I'm not mistaken, how much damage there was, 30 or something now or something like that. Let's check it out in general. So let's take the destroyer, because we have a powerful destroyer. He has 100 HP, and we shoot as tight as possible. 33 HP are being demolished. You estimate now 33 HP is being demolished. But in principle, these air runes are quite expensive. Then the colors of that staff are also expensive. And I think it's even justified, but you can probably do up to 20 damage after all, because well, it's too big. Here, but it's so cool, that he breaks 2x2 blocks, and they are in principle very much, but just shows that he is demolishing something. But the stone doesn't break, only the earth. Then, such a mystical potato was added. I do not know how to make it at all, why it falls out. Maybe the boss drops out with a very small chance. Honestly, I can't imagine where it can be found anymore. It's called magic according to Tate, in our English, and she adds to us, look how much saturation there are, 300 units. Let me get out of the game mode now even. So, I came out and let's go. But no, I've already eaten it. I remember, yes, I ate it once. Well, in short, I'm just as full as possible. It gives us 300 saturation points, which is a lot. I do not know how she crafts, where to find her. Maybe it can be grown with the help of ordinary potato plants. That is, it will fall out, just, with a very very small chance. I do not know. In short, write the creator of the mod, where it can be found. In general, I am very interested. I think you thought this through. And finally, let's look at all the shapes of the Decita cube. Everything here is an ingot, a piece, naturally crushed ore, a sheet, and finally blocks. Let's see what the blocks look like. They look quite interesting and beautiful in my opinion, but probably houses like this should not be built. But somewhere to add an element, let's say a couple of blocks there, well, I don't know, 3 blocks there. How they are there or here are such elements, in short it would be cool. Therefore, it is quite beautiful, and can be used even in construction. Well, there was a potato with you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, put likes, write comments, and also click on the bell, so as not to miss daily videos.